What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for August 30th, 2023. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery, and we know who's going to start the season on the Eagles' 53-man roster. Kind of. Lots of moves, lots of things to get into, so I'll try to recap as best I can. The big story was the trade for Albert O. Will not try to butcher his last name right now. The tight end from the Denver Broncos, who actually I like, and this is one of those low-risk, high-reward moves that Howie always seems to make that we talked about the other day. And I think what this does now is you solidify one of your areas of weaknesses on your offense was the backup tight end when it comes to playmaking and being a part of the offense. Between Alcantara and Stoll, you didn't necessarily really have that. Now with Albert O., it provides you some of that flexibility, and if Goddard needs a breather, if Goddard, who does seem to miss a couple games a year, if he has to miss, you have a guy now that can come right in and almost fill that role. Obviously, Goddard is almost one of the elite tight ends in the league, but this move really helps solidify that backup tight end and gives them a little bit more flexibility on offense. Currently, they don't have a punter or a punt returner. Aaron Sipsis was cut. I think what they're basically doing is he probably will clear waivers, and they're just seeing if there's anybody better out there that they can get, and if not, they'll probably bring him back. Wasn't the greatest punter. Kind of starts off strong and then fades, so kind of one of those moves. I don't know. We'll see who's out there and what they can get. Greg Ward was cut, which is kind of surprising, but I like Greg Ward, undrafted, had some big catches throughout his career. Kayvon Wallace, I thought, was a shocker too. Britt Covey and Devin Allen both got cut, but Kayvon, I thought, was going to make the team mostly because of his special team play, but he's not. But Eli Ricks did make the team, which I really like that move, and hopefully he can continue to grow. Trey Sermon obviously was cut. I think they were trying to work out some sort of trade and couldn't find anybody because everybody knew basically that the Eagles were going to cut him. So currently we don't have a punt returner or a punter. We still have some time before the first game, so obviously that's going to change. No one as of yet has been willing to trade for Derek Barnett, but I truly look to see him trade it before the beginning of the season. So that's kind of where we're at. Again, we're looking for a punter, possibly a punt returner. I think they're expecting Britt Covey and or Devin Allen to clear waivers, so one of them will be back, likely Covey. But we'll kind of continue to monitor that as we go. You missed the deadline for, excuse me, getting your Philly Goat gear in before the first game, but still can go get it for the home opener. Go check out phillygoat.com. Wide selection of Philly sports-based apparel, Philly neighborhood, Philly-centric. You name it, they got it. It's still time to get some stuff for back to school. Go check them out. Get your Believe shirts for the Phillies playoff run, and more on that in a minute. But it looks like they are poised to make another deep playoff run. When you're there, use the promo code Jim Montgomery at checkout for 10% off of your order. I've been saying it, and it's just not a cliche. Help yourself out, help them out, help me out. Everyone's happy. So go check out phillygoat.com. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off of your order. Speaking of those Phils, what an offensive explosion, 12-7 over the Angels. Again, this team likes to get down a little bit early and then just battle back. But I mean, this is the way the offense should be playing. I don't think anyone should be surprised. And if you think about how the season started with Bryce on the IR or IL and all of the things with Trey Turner's struggles, this is what we expected this lineup to be. I think Stott is playing much better than what I think anybody would have expected. Same way with Marsh. I mean, they're hitting home run, and then they even threw in Johan Rojas. Even hit the sacrifice or the suicide squeeze, small ball. So this team is just clicking on all cylinders. I think, like I said, this is the way they were built to be on offense, and we're finally seeing that. So I don't necessarily think anybody should think this is so much a hot streak. Yes, they certifiably are hot right now, but I think even when they cool down, this is more of what this offense is going to be because this is what it was built for. And you got to love Bryce Harper. I mean, the fact that he's talking about listening to WIP and hit that home run for Chuck, you got to love it. The 2 p.m. show, my buddy Johnny Marks. But yeah, I mean, if Chuck, if anybody knows Chuck, or if Chuck, you listen to me, get in touch. I'd love to sit down and have a couple minutes of your time to chat with you about this. But yeah, Chuck from Mount Airy. Bryce Harper listens to WIP, which is just, I mean, there's, how can you not like that dude? Honestly, like, tell me why, or tell me how you can't like that guy. But they're back in action today, looking for the sweep of the Angels. You want more Phillies coverage? Check out our friends at 2008 Phils, the world's biggest email Phillies newsletter. Right now, they're offering 75% off a subscription for this day in Philly sports history. Listeners, check the description or the link in the description for your exclusive access to that deal. And what that gets you is full access to their site, all the archives, discussions, everything. You get a 2008 World Series Championship banner shirt. You get access to autographs and giveaways and tickets, memorabilia. 2008 Phils will follow your Twitter account, which is good if you're trying to build your fan base. Definitely give him a follow as well. Good content on his site. And it's all for $2 a month, $20 for the year. You can't beat that. I keep telling you that, and it's good quality stuff. I do enjoy reading it. Check out the link in the description for your 75% off. All right, time to go to a little bizarro world. And I almost fell out of my chair when I heard this yesterday. I was sitting at the bar in my kitchen/living room, kind of preparing for today's podcast, and I came across an article. And we are going to Bizarro World, and Ben Simmons is ready to make his comeback from his injury and show the world what he is. If he was ever to get traded again, Philly. He wants to come back to Philly. And at first, my first initial reaction, I got excited. I went back to those years when I saw him shooting hoops in the gym, and I was like, oh yeah, I got excited. And then I immediately went back to that Atlanta game. No thanks, man. I just see how this is going to end. Somehow he's going to come back to Philly, and it's going to be the final nail in the process coffin, and he's going to somehow screw it up. But yeah, Ben Simmons is not ruling out a return to Philly. All right. Moving right along then, the Union are back in action tonight up in Toronto, but I still can't get over the Ben Simmons things. I apologize to the Union. I'm not giving you your full coverage that you deserve, but Ben Simmons wants to come back. Anyway, today, let's go back to 1913. And on this day in 1913, the Phillies took an 8-6 lead into the ninth inning when our forefathers, likely a lot of the people that are listening, and myself included, our great and great-great-grandparents, basically were being their typical Philly selves. They were trying to distract the New York Giants hitters, and they were waving handkerchiefs, newspapers, hats, anything to kind of distract them, which back then was kind of considered a little bit out of control. And also remember that the dress was different. Like, people kind of wore suits and things to baseball games and shirts, and didn't really wear jerseys and things like that. But the fans, our forefathers, were relentless to the point where the umpire called the game off, forfeited it, and awarded the game to the Giants. That was later overruled by National League President Thomas Lynch. Then another appeal, I guess, by the Giants went to the league's board of directors, who said, okay, let's just play the last inning out. But you're going to have to play it in New York on October 2nd, 34 days later. I guess that's when the next time the Phillies and Giants played. So the Phillies finally won the game 8-6, but ultimately it was the Giants who won the division by 12.5 games over the second place Phillies. But on this day, a game started that was ended 34 days later because our forefathers, our great and great great grandparents, caused the umpire to call the game because they were too busy heckling the New York Giants. And I am shedding a tear because I'm so proud. Anyway, all right, we're slowly winding down our 31 questions in 31 days about the Eagles' 2023 season. And the big question mark, and it's a question mark every year going into a season, is injuries. And obviously, there's certain positions that where if there are injuries, the Eagles can sustain a lot better. Quarterback right now is not one of them. I'm not confident in if there's any long-term injury to Jalen Hurts. I'm going to knock on wood because we don't want that to happen. But I don't feel confident there. Wide receiver, I think they could manage depending on what an injury is. Same with running back. And actually, to be honest, most of the positions other than quarterback, the Eagles have enough depth to overcome some injuries. Obviously, if they start piling up, which you see sometimes derail seasons when just it seems like everybody gets injured. It happened a lot in 2005 after the Eagles Super Bowl season. It seemed like everybody was getting hurt. So hopefully this is not a repeat of that. You even saw it to a certain extent in 2018 after the Eagles won. But I think, like I said, this team is built different. Just need to be careful out there and manage it. But I do think, like I said, they have depth at some of the key positions to sustain an injury or two. Quarterback, if Jalen Hurts goes down, we're in trouble. But speaking of Jalen, we have one more question to go, and we'll get into that tomorrow. Quick update on the Back to the Future Eagles preview special. We'll be recording that next week. It'll be out in time for the opening game on Sunday in New England, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, be sure to go back and check out some of the archives. We'll get more on a consistent schedule once the fall comes. Like I said, this is just a tough time of year for me with back to school and making that adjustment, and then my kids back to school, sports starts, and fantasy football drafts, everything. So stay tuned. I did not forget about you. But that's why you go buy the t-shirts, so I can do this full time and not have to worry about all that other full-time job stuff. So go to phillygoat.com, use that promo code Jim Montgomery so I can get you more content more consistently. But on this day back in 1913, it was the Phillies taking an 8-6 lead into the ninth and then having our great and great-grandparents, our forefathers of Philly fans, say that 5 times real fast, causing the umpire to forfeit the game, which eventually was the last inning was finally played, and the Phillies won 8-6 34 days later. Bryce Harper, tell me who gets it more, maybe Jason Kelce, but tell me who gets it more than Bryce Harper, other than Kelce. It's just amazing. Tell me what you think. I mean, and again, maybe I'm getting sucked into the Ben Simmons vortex, but like, is it necessarily never mind. No, it's not. It's not. Ben Simmons shooting hoops in the thing. Remember when he hid against the Hawks? Get it out of your head. Get it out of your head. You're just like a bad ex who keeps coming into my life and go. Get it out of there. Phils, look for the sweep today. I'm sure there's going to be some more Howie Roseman magic in the next 7 days or so stay tuned for that. It's supposed to be kind of a dreary day today, so enjoy your Wednesday. I'm Jim Montgomery. This is This Day in Philly Sports History, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.